Hello everyone and welcome back to our Road to the GOAT series. Back with another episode, and we are currently 16-1. So far so good. I have a pretty nice record. Should be technically undefeated, but it's whatever at this point. In today's video, we are going to be playing with the Sacramento Kings. And my opponent is coming out with the Cleveland Cavaliers. A very interesting matchup to say the least in a tier 3 seed. I'll talk briefly about the Cleveland Cavaliers. In my personal opinion, I can't see a situation where I play with this team. Their roster doesn't really appeal to me. It's not any players on the roster that is eye-catching, or I say to myself, I gotta play with this guy because he's a pretty good player in NBA 2K. No, not really. I don't even think Kevin Love is even playing. And so 2K, they don't have him listed on the Play Now Online rosters. So that makes this team even weaker. So this is a team I haven't even played with before, but I would recommend you don't play with them. It's probably frustrating playing with them, but they do have one bright star, or a couple bright stars on the team. You have Andre Drummond, and then you also have Colin Sexton. And besides from Kevin Love, I don't really know anyone else on the roster and what they're good at, so that's why it's difficult to play with this team unless you're a die-hard Cavs fan and you know the players ins and out. But it still probably be a little bit frustrating playing with them, especially at their lower ratings. But I chose the Sacramento Kings. I thought they had a pretty good roster, but in actuality, I would have to say this is a team that's kind of frustrating to play with. I was looking at their roster and I thought they had a pretty good roster. You know, they had role players, they had guys who could shoot. You had a star in Buddy Hield and an upcoming star in De'Aaron Fox. And then Whiteside could play the center position and play defense. Then you also have Marvin Bagley. So a lot of those guys on the rosters, they on that roster, they have a potential to be really good NBA 2K players and players in real life as well. But it doesn't really translate into this game here. But I may give them another try because I really like the roster they have. But playing this game here, it didn't go too well. We got off to a bad start with Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox. I was trying to get to the rim again, and it just didn't work out. Even though we called plays, I had a higher expectation for Fox and Hield to finish at the basket and hit wide open jumpers at least, but that just didn't really happen this game, and I had to look for alternative options. My opponent defense was decent, and my defense, as usual, is always not the best, but every game we play, we're trying to improve that. We're trying to come up with new strategies to play defense. How can we get more steals, put ourselves in better position? And unfortunately there, I thought we was in good position, but he just throws the oop and I didn't jump for it. So we have the lead now, but it's a bit of a struggle lead. Buddy Hield, he gets to the rim and he gets the layup blocked by Andre Drummond, but eventually they call a goaltending, so add 2 points on for us. So I was mentioning a couple of bright stars on the team, or bright spots on the team, and one of them I really like is Marvin Bagley. For some reason they had him playing at the 4 position. I know on 2K20 they had him at the 5, but this year they had him at the 4, and I really like him as a player because he creates a lot of mismatches coming in at the 4 position. 2K, they had Rashawn Holmes at the 5, and it worked, I guess, but you can see there Marvin Bagley just backing down the small Latorian Prince and getting an easy dunk. And that's what I really liked about Marvin Bagley. And don't forget, this guy, he could score on the offensive end, but he could play defense as well. He has the length, his arms are long and lanky, and I believe he has the speed to be a very good defender on NBA 2K. But just like with any sports, especially basketball, at some point in time, you're going to have the other guys on your team step up and make plays. So we also have Bogdan Bogdanovic. He's a shooter, but he didn't really shoot too well in this match, and I just don't know their releases too well, and even though they were wide open shots, I still end up missing them. So coming out of the first half, we have a 22-20 lead, so Like I said, my defense is not the best, and this team offense wasn't good either. I tried running plays, but they just didn't really hit the open shots. But Buddy Hield fortunately comes up and makes a deep three for us, and that is going to extend the lead by 5 points. I was expecting a bigger game from De'Aaron Fox, if he could get to the rim and also cause havoc on the defensive end. Fox gets to the rim there using his speed, and that's what he should have been doing this whole game, but just didn't happen like that, especially going up against a point guard I don't even know on the Cavs, and I don't even know if he could play defense. So I thought I could have taken advantage of that matchup there, but I guess not. That point guard on the Cavs, I don't even know his name, but he has pretty good defense. Jared Allen, a good pickup from the Nets. He gets to the rim, and I forgot about him. Jared Allen is another good player on that Cavs team. He can play defense, but that's his main purpose. I wouldn't really look for him to score a lot of buckets on the offensive end. Marvin Bagley, again, taking on the smaller Taurean Prince and getting to the rim. Larry Nance on Marvin Bagley. We're just going to try and go to the post. You see, he's coming with the double team. We're not going to pass that up. We're going to keep going to Marvin Bagley, and he's going to help us extend this lead a little bit more. So now, thanks to the contributions of Marvin Bagley, we have a 10-point lead. My opponent, he currently has the ball, and he really loved running the pick and roll with the point guard and Andre Drummond, because Drummond was getting good position down low against Hassan Whiteside, Rashawn Holmes, and sometimes even Marvin Bagley. And you can see here, that's why he passes to Andre Drummond. He gets so deep into the paint that he just gets a poster animation every time. Larry Nance Jr. to the rim, beating the slower Harrison Barnes. And something I noticed on this year 2K, the players that move slow, it's a huge difference. Like in the upcoming video, you'll see I played a game with the Spurs, and LaMarcus Aldridge on the defensive end moves like a snail, and you seen on that possession there that Harrison Barnes was a little bit slow on that possession and gave up the layup. So we're trying to work the ball back to Marvin Bagley. We get it to Whiteside, and he finishes over Andre Drummond. Third quarter is ending. We get a wide open 3-point shot. Not able to hit it. Rebound, Corey Joseph, and he beats the buzzer. So that puts us up by double digits again. Now we're entering the fourth quarter. We have a sizable lead, and it looks like we may run away with this game. And as I said earlier, he's going to hit a deep three here. Oh, he actually misses it, excuse me. As I said earlier, the Cavs don't really have any players that could take over the game like that. So I'm not too worried of someone going off in the fourth quarter and just completely swinging the momentum. He throws a bad inbound pass. De'Aaron Fox does what I finally wants him to do. Gets the steal and gets the bucket on the other end. I've been waiting for that this whole game, and he finally does it. Buddy Hield hasn't had a good performance either this game, and I was kind of taking him in and out of the rotation to see who else was there, but the Kings don't really have anyone else at the shooting guard position. A weird possession here by Andre Drummond, bounces it off the bottom of the backboard, gets his own rebound, and gets a poster animation. When you get that deep into a paint with a center, you are bound to get a poster animation, and I kind of like that with 2K this year. It kind of feels a little bit natural, but sometimes it feels like a little bit unrealistic. So I guess you just take with it what it comes with. He makes a bad pass there. He had the shot with Andre Drummond, but of course we had the mismatch earlier, and Drummond gets the rebound again. 18 points and 13 rebounds for Andre Drummond. And usually in 2K, in these play now online matches, I like to go into the coaching settings and set my offensive and defensive, well, mainly the defensive board, to crash the glass. But in this year and how they have it set up in 2K, you can't make that change in the menu. You have to make that change in the timeout, and then in the timeout menu you can make that change to where you want them to crash the defensive board so they get in better defensive position. And sometimes I may not call a timeout, or if I do call a timeout, I forget to make that adjustment. And so some games we get out rebounded heavily. But it also have to do with the rebounder you're going up against. Andre Drummond is a great rebounder, so it's a bit of a no surprise here that he's going to grab a lot of rebounds. So getting back to the game, there is less than 2 minutes remaining. He hits a deep three, and he is going to shrink the lead down to 9 points. We have the ball on offense. All we have to do is just really run time out, but you know we are going back to the well. Marvin Bagley post spin. That is over Larry Nance again, and he's doing a little fist bump showing that he made that bucket. Good defense played by us here. Buddy Hield gets the steal. De'Aaron Fox slows up for some reason because we have our plays set to auto, and so he stopped. But going back to the well again, Marvin Bagley. This time we don't post spin, we go straight up, and we get the bucket again. Like I said, this guy, he's a pretty good player to play with. I don't play my team, but this is a guy I would probably look to have on my team. But that's it for this game. We walk away with the victory. Wasn't too bad to play, but the first half was a bit of a struggle half, and in the second half I kind of knew that, you know, it was set up for me to pull away. So with that victory, we improved to being 17-1. So far, a pretty good record, and I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.